Welcome to Carpool Conversations, where our goal is to equip parents to have meaningful, Christ-centered conversations with their kids. I'm Amy Lowe.
And I am Sara Jones. And today we're going to be talking about the 5 love languages with a very special guest.
The 5 love languages, it's a classic. If you haven't heard of it, I don't know where you've been, but maybe you haven't, and it's good to just reintroduce it to some people. But we're going to be talking about that and building a family that lasts with the one, the only Dr. Gary Chapman. Dr. Chapman has helped so many families over the years with his books, his speaking engagements, really his whole ministry. So Sara, tell us more about Dr. Chapman in case people need a refresh.
I'm going to give our listeners all the information about Dr. Gary Chapman's history. So I have been a recipient of just learning so much from him. So I'm super excited to have him. But Dr. Gary Chapman is an experienced and well-respected family counselor and a well-known author, having written more than 50 books. The 5 love languages, one of the most popular titles, has been translated for more than 50 languages, sold more than 20 million copies, and is currently on the New York Times bestseller list. Dr. Chapman and his wife, Carolyn, have been married for more than 60 years. Congrats. And they live in Winston-Salem, North Carolina. The Chapmans have 2 grown children, Shelley and Derek. Welcome, Dr. Chapman. We are honored to have you with us today.
Well, thank you, Sara and Amy. It's great to be with you.
Dr. Chapman, can you believe that that's how many copies this resource has sold? I mean, like when you first wrote it, you had no idea, right? Who would have thought?
I knew the book would help people
Yes.
because I've been using the concept once I discovered it in my counseling for a number of years, probably at least 5 years before I wrote the book. But no, I had no idea. And the fact that it would go to other languages really surprised me.
It's universal.
Yeah, you're right.
Amazing.
It just amazes me. People have asked me, how do I explain that? I say, well, to me, the short answer is God.
Yes.
And the long answer is God.
Yes. Amen.
I could not have made that happen if I wanted to make it happen.
It's mind-blowing. It really is.
It's a tool that I've used in my own marriage so many times, but also now in my parenting. And so I know that you've been married more than 60 years and you have 2 grown children. So you're not really parenting anymore, but what's your favorite stage, I guess, about walking with grown children that you've parented?
But, it's really exciting. We only have 2 children, a girl and a boy, in that order. And both of them are passionate for Jesus.
Yeah.
My daughter is a medical doctor. She delivers high-risk babies, and she loves what she does. My son has missionary work. Right now, he's in Prague in the Czech Republic. He and his wife do not have children. They've tried but not able to have children. Our daughter has our 2 grandchildren, a girl and a boy, but they're now out of college, and one of them is married already. So we're in the grandparenting stage, grandparenting adult children now, adult grandchildren now. So, but the whole journey's been good. We're just thrilled at the way our children have turned out and what they're doing, and that they're passionate for Jesus. That's what matters, when you really get out to it.
That's what we all want. I mean, you never know where they're going to end up and how they're going to turn out, but we just want to do our best to love them well and to show them the Lord. And it's what a testament that and a way to give glory to the Lord for them to be in such a good place and for you to be able to enjoy that. So that's what we want. We both have an older girl and a younger son over here. So
each of
mine
us
are a little bit older than Sarah's, but that order.
We're both parenting an older girl, younger boy. It's an interesting family dynamic because I don't know about your daughter, but mine's pretty bossy to her little brother. Tells them what to do.
But a few years ago, I wrote a book called "Things I Wish I'd Known Before We Became Parents," And one of them is, I wish I'd known that no two children are alike.
That's right.
No.
And our
And
daughter was easy to raise. I mean, she could have raised herself. She told us when she was 8 years old, I'm going to be a doctor when I grow up. And she never wavered. Went to high school. She took 3 years of chemistry, 4 years of Latin, and then went off to med school.
amazing.
Our son, all over the map. He said about his sister, he said, she's going to miss out on a lot of life because she's too focused.
Oh, that's so great.
So they were opposite.
Every child is different, but I would venture to say that most all firstborn daughters are bossy. I mean, maybe I'm
Yeah.
guessing, that's my guess, that
Yeah.
might be kind of a
True.
general statement. But
Yeah.
okay, Dr. Chapman, you're known for so many things, but the biggest, obviously, we've already talked about, is the 5 love languages. And there's so many amazing resources out there. If you're interested in this topic, there's not just the one book, there's way more than that. And so just tell us, I'd love to hear just how did it come to be? You said it was a part of your practice. And then give us an overview at a high level of what the 5 love languages are, in case folks need either a refresher or this is new information to them.
Yeah, well, I first discovered it in the marriage context, not with children, but with adults. And I'll never forget the day when it first dawned on me that what makes one person feel loved does not make another person feel loved. Because the wife said to me, I just don't feel any love coming from my husband. He was sitting there in the room with us. And I looked at him and he said, I don't understand that. I do everything I can to show her that I love her. And she says she doesn't feel loved. I said, what do you do? He said, well, I get home from work before she does. I start the evening meal. Sometimes I have it ready when she gets home. If not, she'll help me. After dinner, I wash the dishes every night. Thursday night, I vacuum the floors. Saturday, I wash the car, I mow the grass, I help her with the laundry, and he went on. And I was beginning to wonder, what does this woman do?
What does she expect?
It sounded a bit
Sounds
like
great
he
to
was doing
me.
everything.
Yeah.
And he said, and yet she says she doesn't feel loved. He said, I don't know what else I can do. Look back at her. And she said, he's right. He is a hard-working man. And then she started crying. And she said, but we don't ever talk. We don't ever sit down and share our lives with each other. And I realized here was a sincere husband who was doing what he thought would make his wife feel loved.
Yes.
And yet she didn't feel it emotionally. So that was the beginning.
Wow.
And then after that, I had couple after couple share similar experiences. So I knew there had to be a pattern to it, but I had no idea what it was. Until eventually I thought, I'm going to go back through my counseling notes and ask this question. When someone said, I feel like my spouse didn't love me, what did they want? What were they complaining about? And their answers fell into 5 categories.
Wow.
And I later called them the 5 love languages.
Wow.
And
That's
started using it in my
amazing.
counseling. Yeah.
That's amazing.
I think we're going to get there, but through premarital counseling, my husband and I discovered that how we felt love was opposite. What we wanted and what we were able to give was so opposite.
But it's so good you figured it out at the
Yes.
beginning before you even got married.
Amen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, Dr. Chapman, what are they? What are the 5 that you figured out?
Well, these are in no particular order.
Okay.
But one is words of affirmation. You look nice in that outfit. I really appreciate what you did. It's just looking for things you can honestly affirm about the other person. There's a Hebrew proverb that says life and death is in the power of the tongue. We can kill the person by the way we talk to them. We can kill our relationship, or we can build our relationship and give life to our relationship by giving positive words. So I think that's one. Another is giving and receiving gifts. It's universal to give gifts as an expression of love. The gift says, they were thinking about me. Look what they got for me. And then there's words of affirmation. Well, I said words of affirmation. Then there's acts of service, doing something for the other person that they would like for you to do. That's the language this gentleman was speaking.
Yep.
I mean, he was speaking it loudly and clearly, acts of service, just doing things for the other person. You know, the old saying, actions speak louder than words. If this is their love language, that's true. Actions will speak louder than words.
Yep.
And then there's quality time, giving the person your undivided attention. That's what the lady that I mentioned was crying. When she said we don't ever talk, she didn't mean they didn't discuss logistics. Who's going to take the kids to school? Which restaurant you want to go to? She meant we don't ever sit down and look at each other and talk about life and share life with each other. She was begging for quality time. And then number 5 is physical touch. We've long known the emotional power of physical touch. That's why we pick up babies, hold them, kiss them, and cuddle them. And long before the baby understands the meaning of the word, the baby feels love by physical touch. So those are the 5, and the basic concept is that each of us has what I call a primary love language.
Okay.
One of the 5 speaks more deeply to us emotionally than the other 4.
Okay.
We can receive love in all 5, but if we don't receive love in our language, we will not feel loved, even though the other person is expressing love in some of the other languages.
And Dr. Chapman, would you say that the way that I probably acts of service is mine, and I would say that's what I try to give people, that's the primary way that I try to help people is acts of service? Is that's normal of how the way that I do for other people is also the way that I receive it, or is that not? Do they go together or not?
What I've discovered is about 75% of the people, that is true. That is, the language you speak most often and most naturally is the one you want to receive.
Got it.
But for 25% of the people, the one they speak most often is not what they want to receive.
Interesting.
And I think the reason for that is that they were taught how to speak that particular language growing up. So they do it because they were taught to do it, but it's not what they want to receive. So that's basically the percentages.
Wow.
That makes sense because mine is quality time. And in order, I have to have someone reciprocate, in order for me to feel connected, they also have to spend time, with me face to face.
Yeah.
That's interesting. I love the tool so much just to give us vocabulary when we're communicating, when we have conflict in a marriage or relationship, to say what I really need is just for us to go on a date. Let's go do dinner and connect without our kids, or I need you to take out the trash without me having to ask you, if it's acts of service. So, but I love that you created the tool for your couples that you were counseling, but you also have a tool for us as parents to use for our kids. And I would love for you to break it down because I'm parenting younger kids, Amy's parenting teens. So how could this method apply as we're parenting younger kids?
The same 5 languages, but children also have a primary love language, and you can discover it by the time they're 4 years old.
Wow.
By just observing their behavior. For example, my son's love language is physical touch. When he was that age, when I came home from work, he would run to the door and grab my legs and climb on me. He's touching me because he wants to be touched.
Yeah.
My daughter never did that. My daughter would say at that age, Daddy, come to my room. I want to show you something.
Yeah.
He wanted quality time.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's there very early in a child's life. And so if you discover that primary love language for the child, what you want to do is give them heavy doses of that language. But please don't hear me saying that you don't speak the other languages. No. You also speak those other 4 languages because we would like for the child to learn how to receive love and later give love in all 5 languages. That's the healthiest adult. But many of us never received some of these languages growing up. And that's why when we get to be adults, we don't know how to speak them. But the good news is you can learn to speak them. If you're married to somebody, that speaks a different language, or if one of your children has a language that's not your language.
Yeah.
There's a learning curve, but you can learn how to do it.
Right. And ultimately, we're just modeling God, really, to our kids.
Exactly, because I wrote another book called God Speaks Your Love Language.
Yes.
Because people kept asking me, what is God's love language? I went back through the scriptures and realized, hey, God speaks all five fluently.
Of course he does.
Yes.
Yes.
What a beautiful picture.
So when they become teenagers, I mean, you can probably pull out these books and pull out these resources, introduce when they're little, it's like, I'm not going to talk to my 4-year-old about her love language necessarily, but when they're a little bit older, is that something that you would recommend as we think about parenting teenagers when it comes to the 5 love languages?
I think so. Even before the teenage years, we can say to our children, just in the process of conversation, there's at least 5 different ways to express love. One of them is when I hug you. When I hug you, it's communicating, I love you. Another one, you just explain them briefly, to the child, depending on their age level. They get the concept.
Yep.
And then they also get the concept, Daddy has a love language, Mama has a love language, Sister has a love language. So if they grow up in that context, man, that's really preparing them in this particular area of life. Now, when they get to be teenagers, and the reason I wrote that book is because so many parents said to me, Dr. Chapman, we read your book on the 5 love languages of teenagers, and it was just wonderful. But now, our children, but now our child's a teenager, and it doesn't seem to be working exactly right. So does it change when they get to be teenagers? And I said, I don't think the love language changes, but you have to use different dialects because what you've been doing, they consider childish. When you say to the little baby, you sweet little thing, I just love you to death, but you say that to a teenager, unless you're in a room by yourself,
yeah,
or like
they'll push you away.
They get embarrassed pretty easy.
Yeah.
It's like,
and the other thing is, let's say, physical touch was their language. When they were 8 years old or 9 years old, you could go, if they were playing ball, you could go out on the field and hug them in front of everybody, and it was wonderful. You try that with your teenager, even if their language is physical touch, they go, oh, Mama, don't do that. Daddy, don't do that. They still need touch. If that's their language, it's still their language, but you have to do it in private, not in front of other people.
Yeah.
And you may have to do high fives rather than just always hugging them. So we do have to shift a bit when they get to be teenagers. And we also have to recognize for teenagers that they are developing logical thought. Don't hear me saying they're logical. I said they're developing logical thought.
yes.
So they often question things that you've taught them when they're young. That's why many parents say, why are they so argumentative?
Yeah.
Well, they're beginning to develop logical thought. And so they are questioning what you've taught them through the years.
Yep.
And the best thing you can do is not to say, now you know better than that. No. You say, well, tell me about it.
Yeah.
What are you
Ask
thinking?
them questions.
Let them share their thoughts. Let them share their ideas on whatever the topic is. And you can say, well, okay, now what led you to believe that? Have a conversation. What are you doing is respecting them and their efforts to develop logical thought.
Dr. Chapman, it's funny. My son is almost 13, and we're figuring him out as he gets into these teenage years, but he always just held my hand. And then it's funny, like we'll be walking around Target or something, and he'll just grab my hand, like he's not thinking, and he'll grab my hand and we'll hold hands for a minute. And the whole time I'm like, this is so sweet. He's about to let go. And then he'll like think about, oh gosh, I'm in Target. I might see somebody. He lets go. But it's just so funny. He just acts, he's not thinking and he does it. And then, okay, so
maybe his love language is touch.
Well, this is what my question is. I think he's also a talker. Like he would just sit and talk nonstop. So you said they have a primary one, but talk about a secondary and how often people, have 2.
Yeah. Many times, number 1 and number 2 can be very, very close.
Okay.
And so I just say, fine, you're bilingual. Either one of those is going to work for you.
Okay, great.
So you get both of them,
Okay.
You mentioned the 13-year-old. I wrote another book with an African-American friend of mine, Dr. Clarence Schuler, to young men. I wish every young man in the country could read this book. It's called Choose Greatness: 11 Wise Decisions That Brave Young Men Make.
Dr. Chapman,
And
we're
we
writing that
encourage
down
them.
right now. We're going to put it in the show notes, and I'm going to go buy it. Okay, keep going.
Because, and we're encouraging them, if you have a father in the home, you and your father read it together. Each of you read the chapter and then just sit down and talk about it. It gives fathers a way to talk to their sons about some things that they know they ought to talk about. They just can't get around to doing it.
Cannot wait.
And
As soon as this podcast is over, I'm going to Amazon. Okay.
Yeah.
I love that so much.
Me too. What a beautiful legacy you get to leave in all your books and your resources to help families.
Yeah.
That I'm so grateful. I have found that for me and my parenting, I connect really easy with one child because we share the same love languages. And I am bilingual. I'm time and touch. And I have a child that is time and touch. And we connect so easily. But I struggle with another child because she speaks a different language, probably my husband's, and we have a harder time. And so if there's any tips that you can help with maybe another parent that is their story as well, when we're shepherding their hearts, we're becoming students of their hearts, but it just does not come as natural to me.
Yeah. And that's when it takes more effort to speak their language.
Okay.
But the good news is you can do it.
Yeah.
Even if you did not receive that language growing up, there'll be a learning curve, but you can learn to speak that language. So, this is where we get back to attitude. What you said earlier is true. We want our children to grow up feeling that they are loved. We want to meet that emotional need. But if we understand this concept, it's helping us on what we need to do in order to meet that need. And so maybe you didn't learn how to do physical touch, for example, or maybe you didn't learn how to give words of affirmation. You didn't receive words of affirmation growing up, and it's not natural for you just to give words of affirmation to. But if you understand the concept, you understand how important it is to meet that child's emotional need, then you give effort to learn how to speak it. And after a while, it becomes more natural for you, because the more you do it, the easier it is. Just like learning another language, a spoken language. It's really hard at first. But if you speak it 4 or 5 or 6 years, it kind of comes natural for you.
Yes. Yes. I was just with my sister and her 3 kids, and her 3 kids were kind of picking on her, like, we know who your favorite is. She's like, I do not have a favorite kid. They're like, oh, but you do. And I think what they're misunderstanding is it's probably they share the same love language. It's not that that's her favorite kid. It just is something that they connect on,
Yeah, that's
Especially,
very likely true. Yeah, very
yes.
likely true.
Yeah, this is just so good.
I know. Dr. Chapman, okay, so you said from when they were little that you can already start to tell. You told stories of your own kids, and I'm sure all the parents listening are thinking, I bet my child is this. It'd probably be a good conversation for a date night with your spouse, but also you have a free quiz, right? How do people talk about the quiz and how maybe they should use it as parents to help kind of like really make sure that they get right what their child's love language is?
Yes, at 5lovelanguages.com, the number 5lovelanguages.com/quizzes, /love languages, I think is the whole thing. It'll take you to the quizzes.
Okay.
And it'll ask for parents of children 12 or under, it gives questions that the parents can ask the child, a series of questions. But for teenagers, there is one for the teenager. The teenager actually takes the quiz for themselves.
They love a quiz.
Then there's one for parents, and there's one for single adults, for that matter, as well. And all of those things are free, and it's a good exercise to go through that.
I love it, because I don't know, when you're a teenager, you love a quiz because you want to learn about yourself. So this is a great, easy way for a parent to have a good conversation.
Yeah, we're gonna.
We also have a book for the teenager. It's called A Teen's Guide to the 5 Love Languages.
And they just read it for themselves so that
they read it for themselves.
Okay, great. I
And
love
so
that.
it's a great way to have a conversation with the teenager about the concept because they're reading the book. You know, you reading the one for parents, and
Love it.
man, their eyes begin to open up, and oh my, it really is good when you can have a conversation like that with the teenager who's actually reading the book, a book directed specifically to them.
I love it. That's
Yeah.
awesome.
Let's get an office book club. Let's get this
That's
book.
great. I
I
love it.
think this has just been we're going to link the quiz, we're going to link the book that you mentioned. I just think it's so helpful for families who um have never done that they could do that with, their spouse to really love their kids in just this new insightful way. So, our time has I could keep going, but our time has come to an end and it's been an honor hearing from you. I've been a fan for a very long time, and so this has just been the highlight of my day is interviewing you.
Well, thank you. I've enjoyed being with you all, and thanks for what you're doing with
Yes.
WinShape as well as on your podcast.
Thank you.
Yes. Our hope is that we can encourage parents to have just intentional, meaningful homes as they're raising their kids. And we always end with a question for parents who are listening to take back to their dinner table or while, like at bedtime when they're tucking their kids in or while they're stuck in the car in carpool. And so the question that we will wrap with for parents is, how do you love someone who is super different from you? So that's our question.
That's going to be a fun conversation.
It's going to be awesome. I can't wait to hear what my kids say. So it's been an honor and a privilege. Thank you so much, Dr. Chapman.
Well, thank you. And God bless you and all that you're doing.
Thank you. Amen. Thank you. Bye, guys. Thanks for listening.